pointed out. And I believe that in Bandhan Bank, the way you all have started, way back in 2001, when you all first started the foundation to support the community, very prominent to me. Why? Tennis is the first sport that had equal prize money for men and for women. Tennis is the first sport that had equal opportunities for scholarships for boys and for girls in college. Tennis is the first sport that also has equal opportunity across different levels of society. Doesn't matter what color, religion, caste, dialect you speak. This is what I believe that Bandhan Bank stands for. Right in 2001, when Bandhan Bank first started supporting through the foundation, the community, it started with women's empowerment. It started with small loans of 10,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, not just giving the loan back. It also was educating these young women to come together in groups called group loans. The group loans were not only given to a group where it was only men, or a group where it was only a family. It was given to a group of women who came together as a family in society. When those group loans were given, they were also not just handed out by money. Certain locations, depending on the expertise or the passions or the vision of those women, certain locations were taken up, provided for them. Their tools, their groceries were provided for them. And then those women were taught over 18 months how to become experts in their field. My understanding of Bandhan Bank goes back so deep that I could sit here and recite 4, 5, 6,000 stories of what the bank has done. But really right now, to see the class and quality and the touch of Indian philosophies being handed out through a very regulated banking system that is now gone nationwide. My passion, Apurva, is to partner with Bandhan Bank and touch every single one of these 250 million lives that I talk about. Not just in the field of sport, but in any walk of life. Empowering our youth, empowering our children to be champions. To me, this is why I agreed to be here today. This is why I extend my hand in friendship, and this is why I extend my brand of the Flying Man, along with Bandhan Bank and all the top brass of Bandhan Bank and their ideologies, with the whole structure of Bandhan Bank that I've been working with for a few months now. All of you have been very passionate, you have been very professional, and yet you have a human touch. And to me, that is all the ingredients for me to support a bank that is from West Bengal, a bank that has deep roots and headquarters here, just like I do, and then to take it global around the world. Today I brought back an International Tennis Hall of Fame medal. I'm hoping that in 10 years' time, in 15 years' time, that I can take Bandhan Bank global throughout the world. That is my passion.
Fantastic. Thank you, Leander. And truly, for someone who's not intrinsically a part of Bandhan Bank, to speak so well about the bank and know the details about the bank, it says volumes about how you're emotionally so attached. So thank you for that. But you touched upon inspiring 250 million children, and you just mentioned about it as well. I'm sure people sitting here, you mentioned that also in your speech at the Hall of Fame. I'm sure people sitting here would want to know a little more about your vision of the 250 million children.
That's a great question. First of all, when I said 250 million children's lives that I want to touch at the Hall of Fame speech, there was silence in the audience for 10 seconds. Because they thought I might have got the number wrong. No, it is 250 million children's lives minimum that I want to touch. Why? Why that number? Why not 200? Why not 300? In India, we have a population of 1.4 billion plus. 55% of our population is under the age of 26. That makes it approximately 745 million. 80% of that is under the age of 18. That makes it approximately 520 million. Every one of those children have to do physical education in school. Now, through the physical education classes in school, through the 80s, 90s, and even now, I do not believe that the physical education classes are doing the full capacity of what they can do to make a difference to every child's mental health, to every child's physical health, and to every child's emotional health. That is the vehicle I would like to make a difference to. Is through the physical education classes to actually deal with the stresses that children are facing, whether it's social media stress, whether it's peer pressure stress, whether it's exam stress, whether it's all these smart gadgets that we have, that children are losing the art of communicating, listening, and actually having a discussion in community. I feel that growing up in the 80s in Kolkata, we were very blessed with that. I feel that growing up in a city like Kolkata and a state like West Bengal, which is so diverse in community and so diverse in culture, we were very blessed with that. Through the vehicle of multiple sports, music, dance, business, and through the vehicle of physical education, the PE classes, is where I would like to make the difference, to go state for state throughout the country, and take 60 years of my father's sports science knowledge, where he was a doctor of sports medicine as well as an Olympic champion, and take 40 years of my own expertise, being his guinea pig, take this 100 years of knowledge and create a better, healthier India that we can live in. To come to the challenges we have, the reflection of the challenges are that India is number one in the world in obesity. India is number one in the world in diabetes. Today, people don't talk about it because it's a taboo conversation. India is number one in the world in mental health issues, especially after COVID. These issues need to be addressed. They need to be taught, they need to be normalized, and we need to find solutions for them. And that is where I feel that my passion to empower the youth to be champions in any walk of life is a great responsibility, and that's why I put my word out there of 250 million children. And I would also like to point out that with the high brass of Bandhan Bank, the conversations already have gone so deep of supporting in teaching young boys and young girls vocational skills, teaching them a craft, to be able to put food on the table, to be able to earn a living, to empower themselves. But I'd like to humbly thank Bandhan Bank already for this solicitation and for taking the journey even further of how we can empower our youth in our entire world to be the best that they can be.
Thank you for that, Leander. And it's just incredible to hear the passion in your voice and the way you mention and talk about these things. It's not a number that is sprung out of thin air. You've done your homework, you know what it takes, you know what it needs to really create an impact, and it's just incredible how focused you are on achieving that. So we look forward to how that moves forward. But now we come to a section of this afternoon which is most exciting for you all. It's time for Q&A. Please raise your hand and the mic will come to you. Please wait for the mic to come to you. Please mention your name, which publication you're from. My humble request would be, please limit the question to what we are here for, which is Bandhan Bank and the realization of the enterprise's journey. Please.
Later, this is Roshan from Talisman. The thing is that after the unfortunate incident of Vinesh Fogart that has happened in Dice Olympic, so there is a conspiracy theory that has already come out, and apart from this, Indian Sports Administration have already initiated a complaint and taken necessary steps regarding this. So what's your take on that?
Today, I think we're here to celebrate, yes, parallelly while the Olympics are going on, yes, parallelly while these issues are going on, we're here to celebrate bringing back the International Tennis Hall of Fame trophy to Kolkata. I would humbly like to reserve my comments until I get down to the bottom of finding out all the details of it. And I know that most of you all are here to ask that question. And in the respect of time and in the respect of why we're here today, I think we should leave that answer to another day. My heart goes out to all the people concerned. But in that, I would like to focus on why we're here today.
Just hold on, just.
Very good.
He started first, just. We'll come back to you, just come back.
আমার প্রশ্ন খুব সিম্পল। তুমি আসার আগে বন্ধন ব্যাংক অনেক ছোট ছোট ব্যাপার করেছে, অনেক বড় বড় জিনিস করেছে। তুমি আসার পরে কি করবে? তোমার প্ল্যানটা কি যদি আমাদেরকে বলে?
250 million children.
শুধু 250 মিলিয়ন ছিলেন না, আরো দিকে বন্ধন ব্যাংক তোমার থেকে আর কি কি পাবে?
Apni dekh mein, in the next few months ahead, in the next few years ahead, the discussions are big. To answer your question in a little more detail, the reason I believe in Bandhan Bank and everybody that works in it is that we're not just sitting in metro cities, we're not just sitting in fancy ballrooms, but actually in the rural parts of India. They're reaching out directly to different layers of society, whether it is empowering women. 60% plus Bandhan Bank's loans are given to empowered women. Certain ethical systems of how not just giving money but teaching those women how to use that money well, to also be responsible for the EMIs coming back, to also be part of society. I can tell you one story that was shared with me, if I may. There was one lady in rural West Bengal who was given a 10,000 rupee loan to start. Why? Because she was a beggar on the streets. She would go from building to building, begging for money for food and clothes for her children and her. Bandhan Bank came together and supported that lady by not just giving money and walking away, by actually holding her hand and teaching her the grocery business to start with. Rented a location, filled that location up with groceries, taught her how to turn that business around. Once she turned that business around, today she has 4 different businesses. She owns 2 buildings, multi-storied, that she rents out. She's back in the community, educating other women on how entrepreneurship is done. So, যেরকম আপনি বলেছে কি, what is their next? Today I can stand on a podium today as a champion of tennis. But to me, that lady is my champion. Because she's a champion of society. To me, Bandhan Bank is a champion. Because they make a difference in the society. So next, what will you see? You'll see much more opportunity, whether it's young children, education, sport, entrepreneurship, all walks of life. We will collaborate together to make a bigger difference, starting in Calcutta, starting in West Bengal where our roots and our headquarters are, but going all across India with such wonderful, great crew and staff and people in the bank to actually take them global also, outside India, do great work, is my vision next. But it takes a little time.
Good morning. So it's a really inspiring to see that both the great legends from the banking and sports arena join hands together. My questions to both of you: sports and touching 250 million lives in the achievement and each target to meet. But infrastructure of the sports in India, especially in Eastern India, is not that. Biophysics, biomechanics, all these things are not up to the mark. If you have the pain, you go for the paracetamol. That may not be the right thing for a doping test or anything. So you me, what I mean. So is Bandhan Bank having any plan to support the initiatives of setting up the labs which can support the sports medicine and sports infrastructure for the people who are athletes or who are in the future?
What
to do together is something that we have to still sit together and fructify and all those detailing. As of now, we don't know how we will contribute, but we would like to do together and continue to create impact in the society.
You're exactly right that today, after 40 years of playing, if I sat back and enjoyed the next, my 50s, my 60s, no one would point a finger because it's already a success. But this is why I'm partnering people who are inspired and motivated to make a difference in the community to take 100 years of knowledge of the Pace family system and impart that knowledge to the community. To answer your question exactly, right now where we sit today, not very far away, is one of the greatest sports science stadiums in the world. It's in Salt Lake, Sports Authority of India or Salt Lake Stadium. This year we also celebrate the 100 years of the Derby. Look at the history that we have in our culture. In Calcutta and West Bengal, in the Maidan where my father would play, this young lady knows exactly how many hours I've spent in the Maidan learning the culture of sport and passion for community in Kolkata. The reason I am today is because I'm a son of Kolkata. So in that, to share the 100 years of knowledge, to first collaborate with a bank that has a phenomenal legacy. Mr. Ghosh and his family, and incidentally it's Mr. Ghosh's birthday today, so I would love to wish him a very, very happy birthday, a wonderful retirement, and he seems more busy in retirement than he was when he was working. But in that, the legacy that Mr. Ghosh and the bank had started are now resting on these wonderful young men who are also so passionate about taking the bank forward. Also, I know that right now in the transition is such a tough time. When any company, any corporate goes through a transition right at the top, the pressures fall very heavily on the next. And my respect for that is tremendous. That in their first quarter itself, under the new management or the renewed management, shall we call it, already their first quarter has been so wonderful. There's a momentum in life. And when you have that momentum in life, it's important to continue it. That is why those trophies have been brought today. 1990, the smallest one, to 2016, the big one, to 2024, as Apurva so beautifully put it, that is a medallion of a journey, of a lifetime. So with Bandhan Bank, I know very clearly that I've got some great partners who, if I'm able to articulate it nicely, if I'm able to show the knowledge that I have, and also to understand the wealth and knowledge that Bandhan Bank has, on how we can find a synergy to continually make a difference in society. I think that not just with the way I articulate myself, or not just with the way I can say words and put different languages together, but more importantly by leading by example, I think is how Bandhan Bank and Flyman would like to present ourselves. So without speaking too much today, I would love to share that journey and keep like a trickle effect, keep putting that out there. Because every child you make a difference to is a job well done. We will get to 250 million, I'm sure we will get more than that. But it will take time. And in that we will share with you as we keep moving forward.
Thank you.
We have a question here from the lady. Yeah.
Please, first, congratulations once again. I want to ask a very tennis question. Now that your journey is over for tennis, Goyal has almost coming to an end. I mean, he has kind of said he's not going to play anymore. The others in our country right now are nowhere near the standards that you guys have put up. You, Mahesh, Saina, then Upanna. Where do you see Indian tennis in the next few years?
Firstly, I want to give a personal thank you to you, because when we were discussing your terrace garden through the lockdown, through COVID, and when Amphan hit and I called you to find out whether you were fine, and those discussions that we had then is why we stand here today. So your name is on that trophy. your name is on that medal, and I'd like to thank you for the years of your writing and your correspondence of making a difference in the community. You really are my champion. So thank you. To answer that question, I think that tennis in India is got a long way to go. I think that there is great room for improvement. I think that not just on the results, but really on the grassroots and the feeder system. This is where my passion lies. I think that in most sporting business in this country, everyone is fighting for the top of the pyramid. Fighting for IPL, ISL, Olympics, Grand Slams, World Championships. Everyone's looking at that top. But I really am focused on the grassroots level, on the feeder system, which is where the 250 million kids are. Because I already know how to build champions. We've done it multiple times in our family. The third generation is on its way now. So to create Olympic training centers in the country is the pinnacle of that. But the start of it is to get out and create a huge database of where the talent in sport and in our community lies at the grassroots level. And I feel that takes a mammoth amount of work. It takes a lot of testing, which is what my father originally designed back in the 70s and early 80s, which is what I went through. Physical testing, medical testing, sports testing, density of muscles, length of muscles, density of the femur bone to check age verification. As the young man spoke earlier, World Anti-Doping, make sure that the athletes are well aware of any contamination in their glass of water that someone else filled for them, never to touch a bottle or things like that. So I've taken your question and gone so deep into it in the fact that I feel it's part of my responsibility to nurture the next generation.
I
Why?
think Payson Sport did that first among any company or home in India. Payson Sport was the first to look into all this.
That's right. My dad started Payson Sports in 1995, and he was the first to bring sports science into the community. Dad did a phenomenal job there. Through all of Southeast Asia, he got 29 million students. He worked with the BCCI, he worked with the Asian Cricket Council, with FIFA, with Hockey India, which was his specific sport, since he won a medal in field hockey in 72. Worked with the All India Tennis Association very extensively throughout the country and with the International Tennis Federation. So our testing ground started like in 1991. Our proof of concept started in 1991 in Chandigarh. One of my first sponsors in Chandigarh gave us 10,000 children to start with in 2 schools. From there, in 2 years, we grew up to 200,000, 2 lakh children. And that database and that talent ground that we were choosing talent, nurturing talent, doing sports science and rehab with them. From 1991 to now, we've got 29 million students already. So over that, it's still a small number compared to 250 million, but the proof of concept is sitting right here. So I don't like speaking about myself so much, but I would love to create a legacy in India where we also show the youth how we respect our seniors, how we respect our predecessors. Today, I wouldn't be who I am today without my mother and my father. And I guarantee that any one of us wouldn't be who we are without our parents. So I like to show respect to them. I want to take my dad's knowledge and my knowledge and share it with the entire world so that hopefully the world can be a better place.
Thanks, Lee. We'll take one last question. We have a question there.
Hi, Lee. Sandeep here from ABP News Network. Very good afternoon and congratulations for your journey. You are being such a champion in an icon and in Indian sports. I cannot stop myself from asking you one question. As in Olympics, Neeraj Chopra will be competing in the finals tonight. So, any message you want to send him? And I have another question regarding the Olympics. That apart from shooting, where India have already secured medals, in many sports, in many events, India have started with, but they are lagging behind. The Indian athletes are lagging behind in the medal round. So, do you think anything is lacking in there? Thank you.
Sandita, namaskar. You know, my passion, my emotions, my empathy, and my support goes out to every Indian out there in the world. Especially right now because it's very important where the Olympics is happening currently. So it's a very important conversation right now. 100% my emotions and my passion and my support are with all the athletes. Always. But in the light of the conversation we are in today, shout out and big support to Neeraj and every one of our athletes. But I think that this conversation is a conversation for some other time. I think that when I start talking about and showing you the different academies, the different schools, the different playgrounds, the different maidans that we are nurturing through the Flyman sports system, at that point of time, I would love to invite you, Sandeep, and invite all of you to come and see what we are doing on the ground level. Because while I can share a beautiful relationship with the lady in the front on the left, that over decades of communication, Shandita, on how she knows exactly how much hard work and sweat and blood and loneliness it took to achieve this. You're a young man. I'd love to be answering this question, not on a mic, but maybe in 12 or 15 years from now, when you are in the front of the dais and our athletes and our champions are sitting here answering your question by being here in person with their medals. I think that action speaks louder than words. Shandipda, I don't want to talk negative about someone who's not done well or talk positive about someone who has done well. For me, I'd like to make that difference. And that is the conversation we're having today. And I look forward, because I will remember you in 10, 12, 15 years from now, when our athletes answer the same question.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have one last question from here. Okay, we have two. We have one there, and then we come to you, and that's the end of the
Hello, Director.
Hello.
I'm Onyon from Ishmael. Personally, I want you to get me insight of setbacks are a part of champion's journey. All people mostly talk about Atlanta, but there are several people talk about Athens. I just want your physical, emotional journey after that Athens match, after that loss of not getting the medal. And as the Olympic goes, you already mentioned to Shandita, but just to extension of that part, there are 6 or 7 instances we missed a chance to get a medal in this Olympics. Which can be done to convert the ratio of the 6th place, but get a medal? What can be done at this point? You mentioned already about the 10 and 15 years part. We are already hoping forward to that, but at this moment, what can be the solution or what is the one point which is missing?
This is what happens when you are world number 1 in doubles for 37 weeks. You don't get one question, you get 2 at a time.
I think it comes down to the same conversation. It's how champions are built. Champions are built in the playgrounds. Champions are built in the classrooms. Champions are built not in big fancy stadiums only, but also in the gullies of Park Street and Park Circus and Ballygunge. I think that a human being's learning is continuous from birth to death. And what you practice every single day, 10,000 hours, over 10 years, 3 million perfect repetitions, you can master anything. That is my humble philosophy. Because talent is God-given, or maybe not. I could sit here and say that an average height of a tennis player is 6'3", 6'4" today. I'm 5'10" on a good day. Why didn't I have that? No. But 10,000 hours, 10 years, 3 million perfect repetitions, you can master anything. So that comes from physical fitness and also from mental fitness. And specifically to answer your question, that's where mental fitness comes in. You're right, people will only talk of the medals in Atlanta and things like that. But no one will talk of Athens or even furthermore, when you were playing on court number 103 in Uzbekistan and lost in the first round. So, life is a beautiful journey. I feel like we all get caught up in the instant gratification results, like you so rightly said. But what is beautiful about your question is about how do you deal with adversity. That's what I really enjoyed of your question, is how do you build champions who learn how to get up off the floor every time they fall. Because we all fall. Every one of us have fallen so many times. But with great friends we can communicate with, take advice from, coaches, trainers, family. And this is what India is really rich in. India is very rich in family connect, in family bonds, in loyalty and friendship. India is very rich also in corporate loyalty. And that is what we would like to shine on the world. We would like to shine not just by speaking, but by action, on how winning is done, which is really your question.
We have one last question for the afternoon. No more questions on this, please. Yes.
তুমি যখন তোমার কেরিয়ার শুরু করেছিলেন তখন আমাদের সিএম ছিলেন বুদ্ধদেব ভট্টাচার্য এবং তিনি কিছুক্ষণ আগে মারা গেছেন, তো সেটা নিয়ে তুমি কি বলতে চাও?
You look so young, I don't know if you were born when I started. How old are you? 32. Correct. My career is for 38 years old. But what a question, huh? I think that it's important to focus on the positives of life. I think one of the most beautiful things that Rajesh said was that we share the same roots. Today, if I hadn't learned how to get up off the floor every time I fell, if I hadn't learned how winning is done, I would probably be coaching in the minor. I would probably have a coaching job at DKS or South Club or, CCNFC or in the minor. But really, I think that is what inspires me today, is that yes, I started 38 years ago. The regime was different. I think I've been through 11 prime ministers. I've been through 7 presidents of our country. And that speaks of the longevity of the passion, the hard work, the learning, the knowledge, the proof of concept. And that is what I'd like to continue to show how that from Kolkata, from West Bengal, we can produce champions around the world. To take India and the ethics, values, ethos of what Indianness is, and to show the whole world how rich we are in culture, in family, in community, in honesty, in the way we conduct ourselves. That is important. There are many champions in the world, many. But how you do things determines who you are. Not just because you have a medal and many trophies. How you do things. Another wonderful man I look up to is sitting right next to you. He heads up Bandhan Bank as well. And about an hour ago or so, we were sitting behind, and he told me something so beautiful, which answers your question. He said, if you do things with honesty, nothing can keep you down. You will succeed. Correct, sir? I think that passion and honesty shines through. And that is how I like to live my life every day. I will fail, I will fall, I will have weaknesses. I will do something wrong, unintentionally. but by learning every day, and sometimes by just keeping quiet, is also how winning is done.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. This brings us to the end of this meet. Thank you, Lee, for joining us. Thank you, Radha. Thank you, Rajendra, for joining us.
না না ওখানে তো ওটাকে করে দিতে পারবে
রাইটার সামনে, ট্রফিটার সামনে। আরে মোবাইলটা তুলে দাও হাতে। এনে
দেখছি যখন থাকবে থাকো।